Hello and welcome to the third ever 8-Bit Debaters. My name is Rob and I'm going to be your host for the next 45 minutes or an hour or so. This is brought to you by Twisted Bard Gaming and by Pepsi as well. They thought they would chip in a bit of sponsorship.
They're getting desperate.
So in this week's episode, we're going to ask what is the best strategy game of all time. We're also going to go over a bit of news about The Witcher 3, Geralt of Rivea making an appearance in Soul Calibur 6, and big update that's happened for Star Wars Battlefront II. But we start, as we always do, with the icebreaker.
The icebreaker.
Yes, it's the icebreaker, and the icebreaker question for this week is: what is the favourite game you've bought for less than a fiver? For people in America or anywhere else that's not the UK, you don't know, a fiver is £5. As they say.
That clarifies what
As they say. So we'll start this week. We're going to start with John. John, how have you been doing this week? All right?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Just,
Are you living the dream?
of course, definitely finding random games on the Switch, so having fun with it.
Nice. So, so the icebreaker question to you then is: what's the favourite game you've bought for less than a fiver?
I'm going to go with Dungeon Keeper 2. I actually got it for free on Origin, I think it was.
EA Origin, is that?
Yes, yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
The idea of it is you have a dungeon, you maintain it, you have imps, you can slap the imps around. Brilliant. So
Sold. That's it. That's what you need to say. You can end it there, mate.
yeah, they work faster. You got to dig out. You use them to dig out and create rooms, and you attract different types of monsters. And the whole idea, the tagline is, "It's good to be bad," and it's just it's comedy all the way through. You set up rooms and things like that, and attracts different monsters. So like, with if you put a library down, you get warlocks, if I remember correctly. You get trolls, goblins, all sorts. Highly entertaining game. I'm pretty sure you can pick it up for under a fiver at the moment.
Awesome.
Yeah, pops up every now and then.
Cool. Great. So next we are going to Geordie, who Geordie comes through from right next to his a toilet. So Geordie, how are you how are you doing this week, buddy? All right?
I'm dying every day.
Oh, nice. We are, in a way, aren't we all, mate? Aren't we all? So the icebreaker question to you then is: what is the favourite game you've bought for less than a fiver?
When I was a child, there was a...
When?
10 minutes ago.
Sorry, can't help it. Now I can see your face.
5 years ago, when I was a child, Humongous Games were putting out games, which was like when you had like Freddy Fish and Putt Putt. My favourite game was Spy Fox in Dry Cereal, and that they recently started re-releasing their games on Steam for under like £1. I bought that.
And did it make you feel good?
Yeah, it was good. It was great nostalgia. It made me feel real good.
Oh, no, awesome. I have no idea what that is, but I look forward to seeing the footage of it when I eventually have to research it and put it in. So
Oh, it's very good.
No, it's cool. Can you tell us a little bit about what the game's about?
It's about a fox called Spy Fox, and it's literally just a parody of James Bond, and it's a point and click.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, his assistant is called Monkey Penny.
Nice. I like that. Actually. That's pretty good. I can tell Al's laughing. Al loves punsies.
It's very
so good.
I don't know how people would feel that haven't played it before. So
okay. All right, cool. Well, we'll have to wait until we see the footage. So
yeah.
Al, finally, Al, how are you doing? You are looking very ruggedly handsome this week.
I always do.
I might say. You notice though, I didn't say it to the two other guys. I don't know what that means, but there we go.
Oh, we know what that means, Rob. We spent too much time together.
So the question for you is: what's the favourite game you've bought for less than a fiver?
I mean, it's got to be put out there, and Fortnite, the Battle Royale mode. I mean, it's
technically such a shit answer.
It's a great answer. Because, I mean, I'm classifying it as its own game and not like it was a release, but it's free.
It's the populist politician answer.
It totally counts.
Yeah,
you're totally right.
Technically, it's right.
I bet you're diehard a Tory, aren't you? I can see it in your eyes.
Who are you, Jeremy Corbyn? Get out.
Boy, right, we're changing the podcast now. It's the hottest a political / a gaming podcast you've ever known.
Shotgun Amber Rod. Let's
Ew.
go.
Right, move on. So yeah, well for me, my favourite game that I've bought for less than a fiver,
Is it Larry?
it's probably going to be a Postal 2. Postal 2 was a game
Memories.
that I was in. Does anyone remember when they used to do? I think it's now closed now, and it was bought out by Game. But do you remember? Anyone remember a Game, a Nation? It was like a shop, a series of shops, and this is before.
I love the complete divide in the people. Me and Geordie looked blanked and confused, and you and Joe went.
Was this before
Yeah.
I was born?
Yeah, I mean, Game Nation was, it was only around. I bought it in like 2004. It's not. You guys were alive. I hope in 2004.
Wouldn't you like to know?
So and I bought a game called Postal 2 in the bargain bin for 99p. It was just a random thing. I was like, oh, what's this? It looks like it's got an interesting a cover, and we've done it on our One Life review series, but
One
it's
of the more
basically
memorable
just
ones.
it's a first person sort of sandbox game where it's just a very obscure, strange experience where it's a sort of game where you can pull out your penis and there's a button there where you can piss, and you can just walk around pissing on people, and
Those
then
are
you
the
can
best game.
and then you can there's a petrol can, so you can douse people in petrol, set them alight, and then piss them out. It is a very odd game, but I don't think I need to elaborate any more than that. That's pretty much that is what Postal 2 is all about. And if you're ever interested, I reckon it's pretty cheap on Steam. I think I bought it on Steam, like do it for that. But who cares how much I paid for it? I'm just made of money on it. So that was the icebreaker round. So now we move to the next part of the show, which is the main part, which we call the mass debate.
The mass debate.
Yep, this is the mass debate, the main part of the show where we all just argue and try not to fall out as hard as we can, but also try and fall out a little bit because it's a little bit more entertaining and brings in the subs and the views, which is more important to us than anything in life, I imagine. This is the mass debate, and this week's question is, what is the best strategy game of all time? So the way the mass debate works is I will be judge, and basically the three chaps you'll see here will basically give us a pitch each. About 2 or 3 minutes about what game they've chosen and why they've chosen it. And then after that, we open up the floor and everyone has a bit of a fight and a bit of an argument, and then it ends. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to start this week, and I think I'm going to start with the beautiful Alistair.
Yeah,
Alistair.
twice in a podcast. How much do I owe you?
So what is the best strategy game of all time?
I mean, as soon as you brought up strategy games, my mind went back to my youth, because I used to just live in RTSs. That was all the games I played when I started playing games. But I went for something kind of a bit more recent and settled for XCOM.
XCOM, so
Yeah.
that's turn-based, yeah?
Yeah, so that's a turn-based strategy game, and it's one that like I do with most games, I kind of start playing it years after it's been released. And I think I came across it because I saw promotion for XCOM 2. And I was like, well, that seems quite a good game. I'll play the first one. And it's essentially you build a squad of special forces, and you have to fight aliens who have invaded Earth and are trying to kill and capture everyone. And so it is a turn-based thing. You move X number of squares each turn, find cover, and then when you go into the combat, you have a percentage chance of hitting with each move, and every special operator has their own kind of special skills. They can throw grenades, they can use shotguns, sniper rifles, so they're better at close range, long range, whatever. But it's also got a permadeath feature.
Mm-hmm.
So when your operator dies, they're gone. Their perks, everything you've leveled up and got for that character is gone. So it adds an extra element to, you have to really, really think through your strategy. So instead of the normal RTS where you can literally just go, I now have a big army, I'm just going to throw it at them until I win. This is, I have to make sure that the person I'm sending in to actually fight close range is in cover and now is supported by several of their teammates on the side who can hit them from the side and basically stop any death. And it's tense. It gets the heart rate going, and you spend so long trying to figure out the right equipment, the right combination of operators, because you have your whole base and you have a list of them you can choose, but only like I think maybe 4 or 5 you can pick for each mission. So depending on the mission type, you have to pick the correct operator and then pick the correct support team as well. And you can just spend hours looking through the equipment, making sure they're absolutely perfectly geared out, leveling up everything. And then one stupid move and they can be dead. And so it makes strategy into something intense. So you actually sit there.
And it's a permadeath thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So you can sit there for like 10 minutes thinking about one move, making sure it's the perfect one, making sure that movement means they're not going to be flanked by someone else coming out of there. And there's several different types of enemies as well. So you move into your combat situation depending on who you're fighting, where they are, and what their support is. So you really have to take everything into account.
No, cool. No, it sounds like really in-depth sort of game. So yeah, no, really good pitch. I think you've been on form these past 2 weeks. You've really tried since we've changed the rebrand. I'm moderately proud.
Now I'm actually stamping my face onto my arguments. I need them to be good.
You're going in for the win. No, that's cool. So that was Al's pitch, and Al's pitch was on XCOM. So next we're going to move to John. So John, do you want to tell us what you think is the best strategy game of all time?
I'm going to go with StarCraft.
The original one, yeah?
Yes, the Blizzard one. It was a bit difficult. I mean, I played both of them. I was more into the second one than the first one, just probably due to my age and that. But the reason why I chose the first one is it is pretty much the game that kicked off the esports kind of genre and constructed what it was in the South Korea. One of the key things as well, I think Blizzard are one of those really good at balancing games to get them as competitive as possible. I mean, you can see the esports leagues at the moment with Overwatch. In particular, that's the main one they're plugging. I think StarCraft 2 is still going, if I'm not mistaken, but nowhere near as big. The games itself, I mean, you've got the 3 different races that suit different styles and things like that. So you've got the Terran, which the humans, they are very defensive strategy sort of play. The Protoss, which are like the religious nutcase kind of alien ones, which are very macro based play, and you got Zerg, which are very micro based. So it suits and encourages different types of players and different different builds and strategies and things like that. I think the thing that really kind of tops it off for me though is the lore and the story that goes through from StarCraft 2 pretty much is just really decent. I probably will have people who are Warhammer fans, 40,000s, jumping up and down and wanting to send me bad stuff in the post because there's actually
don't worry, we are not that big. You're fine.
If there were around, what's the address?
It's somewhere in London. They reckon the Terran, the humans, were a copy of the Space Marines, but anyway, I diverge.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, the lore in that was pretty decent with it as well. And they support their games for quite a significant amount of time. I mean, they're still releasing stuff for the original StarCraft. They released a remaster of it, which I think makes a big difference for me.
Okay, no, cool. No, that's a really good pitch, and probably one of those ones that it should be at very least in the conversation anyway. So that was John's pitch for the original StarCraft. So that leaves finally Geordie. So the question to you then, what is the best strategy game of all time?
Well, I picked the classic, the first strategy game, chess.
Chess. Okay, so the question is, what video game? So which version of video game
The
chess?
video game version of. There's countless versions of chess.
But which? I'm gonna have to tie you down to one.
Maybe the one that's like on Windows.
So like Windows chess, the one
Like
you get,
Windows
like,
XP chess.
Okay, Windows. Okay, well, a pitch away. Why is Windows XP chess
Well,
the biggest strategy video game of all time?
You've got so many range of unique characters. You have two of each basically. You have your king and your queen.
Okay.
And it's one of the first ever games where the female character is actually more powerful than the king power.
That's fair.
Then you have your knights, You have your
You don't even know the rules yet.
your other guys.
Yeah. Okay.
And you have like there's a bunch of characters that get killed off like very easily called pawns.
Right.
It's a brilliant look at the whole racial divide between the blacks and the whites.
Okay. I did hear there was some controversy about whites always going first. I knew that was always a rule of a contention that was a bit controversial.
How much can we get out of fucking
when Chess XP come out?
I mean, there's not that much of a story behind it. Like, there's a rule book, but like it doesn't explain many things.
So from a pure a gameplay point of view, then why is it the best strategy game then?
Because it laid the groundwork for so many turn-based strategies, and yeah, there wouldn't be a South Park Stick of Truth or Civilizations or
anything with
XCOM?
tiles.
Fallout Tactics without chess.
Thank God. Okay, no, that was ironic. Like, yeah, that was better than expected, Geordie.
Most
Well
creative, I would definitely say.
Most creative answers I think we've ever had. No, that's fair enough. So yeah, those were our 3 answers. So first of all, we have XCOM, which is a very original game. I think we can all say that. Then we've got StarCraft, which we all agree has a very long-lasting legacy and a huge impact on the gaming industry at large. And then we've got Chess XP on Windows, which says a lot about us as a community, really, and as a race. So no, that's those answers are absolutely valid. So from here, what we do now is we open up the floor to everyone have a bit of an argument about the reasons why theirs are the best and the others are the worst. And hopefully by the end of it all, I should have a clear idea about which one is going to be the clear winner. Now, these guys can't actually hear it because we're still having some issues, but when the debate ends, they will hear this noise.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
So you guys wouldn't have heard that, but that was an Arnie quote from a barbarian, just in case you weren't there. So pretend that you laugh, guys, and then I'll cut it. I probably won't. Yeah, that's a noise you'll hear at the end of the debate when I think it's all over, and it's got to a point where it's probably a bit boring. Yeah, from there, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Go, guys.
Are your games turn-based or real-time?
Turn-based is mine.
So would you say that maybe the rules of your game sort of maybe spawned off from chess? And would you not say there are different types of characters that you can use XCOM against your?
I'm just gonna say no in that entirety. I don't think you can really pit together the combat system of XCOM into chess.
Well, I would argue chess came from backgammon, didn't it?
Oh shit, Jones, go way back.
Drop the bomb.
All right, Elder John.
And
don't worry, young Padawan.
And backgammon, if I remember correctly, is technically just checkers.
Yeah, and then we got sticks before that.
How far are we gonna? So are we saying the best strategy of all game of all time is sticks?
Yeah,
no, we can go one before that, and we can go for 3D pinball. The oldest strategy game ever to exist. Before fire, before sticks.
Right. Back on track, guys. Why are you guys? Oh God, this is going rapidly downhill, guys.
It was chess. Chess has done us in. We're done.
Right. No, come on.
The controversial game.
Well,
why is chess not a great strategy video game?
Because it's not a video game. Like chess works
It
best.
can be.
Chess works best as mano y mano or mano y womano. Not sure of the Latin phrase for it, but when you're staring at your opponent's eyes and you can see the fear as you're like hovering around the rook or the knight, and they're like, don't do it. Like, I'll do it. It's trying to read your opponent and outmaneuver them, or make your move to actually fool them into maneuvering around. When in a video game, it's just online. You can't have that interaction and that actual intimidation and psyching out that you would in chess. So the video game has ruined chess, really. It's not the same game.
Where do you play chess? Are you like chess throwdown in a fucking dark park or something like that?
you don't want to see my chess gang.
You try and do that around here where I live, you get stabbed.
But chess is still going strong. Like, you had the board game, and now it's a video game, so it's rolling with the tide.
And soon the movie. Sorry, carry on, Johnny. I couldn't help.
No, that was it.
I mean, like, other games like
Is there a chess movie?
There's probably a movie about some chess superstar.
It's some Russian that's really good at it or something like that.
I'm pretty sure there's a musical about chess.
Yeah.
Like some play. But we're getting sidetracked again. Card games, translate well into a video game, but chess does not. Because chess is made for that competition of that physical interaction, so you can actually like. It's
Quick, pass me the Vaseline. I'm about to fucking pass
out.
No.
I think move on.
It's going to be slightly different.
You keep saying that chess isn't good as a video game because it's all about interaction and
Vaseline wrestling.
It's pitting mind against mind instead of mind against machine. We've learned from Terminator that never works. Do you want Arnie to come back and just tell you chess is wrong?
Playing chess on a computer against a computer.
That's man against machine. It's not as good. You need the physical of chess.
Multiplayer.
Yeah, but that doesn't exist in Windows. It's such an outrageous answer. I just can't.
I want to hear from John. Yeah, I want to hear from John.
Which chess are we talking about here? Is it just a flat 2D board of like you click horsey over there? Or is it, have you got animations? Because I remember in 1924, when I was 12, I used to play, there was a
battle chess.
3D version of chess that was absolutely awesome.
A battle chess.
Yeah, it was a battle chess. And you
had
a
war.
You had the animation, so you moved the knight and it moved over and it like fucking clap the pawn around the head and the pawn, and it's like kind of the
being really excited.
Yes, it was absolutely amazing. I loved it, but I'm just trying to define
chess.
The chess is a very broad term. This is like me turning around and going, yeah, I choose cards. Solid. You know what I mean? We need to define.
What other kinds of chess is there?
No. I think you're kind of missing what I'm saying here. What game of chess? Is it like chess 3D? Is it chess? There's many different variations
2D.
of it. 2D is flat, boring.
Do you even have the timers you can slap?
Physical.
Physical.
In 3D.
I really want to play chess with Alistair. I'll bring the Vaseline and be like, come with my tops off.
I've heard a lot about chess, but let's hear about the other two games.
Choice? Oh, StarCraft.
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 Why isn't StarCraft? Why
not as good as Warcraft?
It's basically just Warhammer 40,000, mate.
Yeah.
I gave you that one. You can start off with that shit.
You gave me a weapon. I don't know why you.
Yeah, I don't know why, didn't
I?
Yeah, it is chess in space with lots of chess type pieces.
It was basically like the one that started them all. It was one of the originals. I can't remember if it was the original RTS of that style.
Yeah. Well,
but it's not what set the trend. It's what is the best, and so I think that style has been done better by other games. I mean, the Warcraft franchise, when it was doing strategy, they did it amazingly. Like Command and Conquer, Red Alert, Age of Empires, they all did that basic strategy style thing that StarCraft put out. I mean, I don't really know how to genre it outside of strategy, but they did it a lot better, I feel, than StarCraft. Yes, StarCraft is a trailblazer in that aspect. It started it all, and it did fantastically. But in terms, it's not what started it, because then you just keep going pushing back, and fucking chess is back in the mix again, and we're not having that.
But just on that retort, John, a Command and Conquer, is that better than a StarCraft?
Well, no, it's a completely different type of game, because Command and Conquer was literally spam out as many units as you can and send them off that way.
It was how to win.
The difference is, and I mean with Warcraft as well, with Warcraft you had two races. You had, we're talking Warcraft 1 and 2 before we had 3.
The early ones.
You had humans and orcs, and that was it. with the StarCraft, it kind of turned into the tripartite type of system with the different types. And I think the thing that sets it apart with it is the fact that the success of the esports leagues, the balancing and the strategies that came out of it were seriously insane. I mean, the StarCraft 2 in particular, I played a lot of in terms of 1v1 and 2v2 and got fairly decent at it. But I tell you what, there wasn't half where your heart's racing from playing online play to the point that you don't want to play it because you don't want to ruin your rank. But it's going back to the original part of your question. I do disagree with the fact that I prefer Warcraft as Warcraft 3 as a game, but in terms of real time strategy game, I think StarCraft hits it in the nail with the balancing, with the thought behind it, with the leagues and the systems that were there for playing it.
But with the whole leagues and everything, wasn't that developed after its initial release when it took off as an esports game? Was that already in place when it was launched?
It took off after.
Yeah, so then it wouldn't be technically just StarCraft; it would be the additions to StarCraft after it was released. So I mean,
surely that counts. That's still part of the
go back and just
StarCraft
start going,
experience, isn't it?
Is it
We can start talking about chess and all the competitions that came out of that as well.
This chess has got everyone screwed.
Yeah, yeah.
God damn you, Geordie.
Let's talk about XCOM then. Why not XCOM?
It sounds like, to me, to be honest, I played a game called Commandos, where literally it was a strategy type game like that, and permadeath, and you as soon as they're dead, they were dead. It was one of the hardest games I've played, although I think it came out quite a few years before XCOM.
Yeah, I haven't played Commandos. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I could tell by Geordie's reaction that he was like, "What's this old man on about?"
Yeah, so I mean, I can't really sort of say how close it is and what XCOM differs about it, but I'm sure because XCOM did bring in an entirely different range of things, so maybe it carried the same frame as Commandos. You have your special forces group trying to go out and do good and things like that. I mean, it's actually I probably need to do a bit of research on what it is in terms of to actually argue back. But,
well, Commandos. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw some random games and you know fuck all about.
John should just go picking games from his youth that I know there are legit games, just probably have nothing to do with the argument and just trying to throw me. I'm just gonna say no. It was completely different
Pong.
to XCOM.
You remember what? Pong.
Pong.
Why did John's mind go there?
I don't know. He's in dorms and anyway, carry on. Pong.
It's basically chess. It's just a rip-off.
Basically chess with just a few less moves. So so what I'm going to do, just to sort of wind us towards the end of the debate and give us a little bit more direction, I'm going to go around one of you each by each and just get your sort of general thoughts on both. So Geordie, I'm going to ask you this question. Why not XCOM?
Well, Ali hasn't really explained why it should be chosen enough. He hasn't really explained much about it, like what goes into it, the story, the gameplay.
Story's just aliens in Earth, and you're a special forces unit, either trying to kill aliens from a special area, trying to save people, or trying to clear up so research can be done.
How many spaces a character can move?
It depends on
forward and backward.
Any omnidirectional.
Can it move in an L shape?
It's fucking chess again, isn't it? Knight to fuck you.
Okay, and then in the same sort of amount of time, in 20-30 seconds, why not StarCraft? Why is StarCraft not the best strategy video game of all time?
So bad they had to make a sequel to fix it. But do you know what they didn't have to make a sequel to?
I would have countered. Would they have needed to make a sequel to chess?
No, because it's brilliant. It was brilliant the first time. If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
True. Okay. So that was Geordie's final thoughts. Next, I'm gonna go to John. John, why not chess for for the Windows XP.
To be honest, if I wanted to play chess, I agree. I would have gone down to the park and throw down with random strangers with Vaseline. That's much more fun than sitting on my own and topless and playing in the computer. Yeah. I think that I'm going to leave it at that. To be honest,
Leave it at
Yeah.
that. Okay. And why not XCOM?
why not XCOM? To be honest with you, yeah, I'm not so sure about this alien human hunt thing. I'm fucking pulling things out of my arse here. I haven't got a clue. It actually sounds really good. I'm gonna Google it when we finish this. I've not heard of it, so yeah.
Oh,
Okie dokie. And then,
first
so finally, Al, why not chess? And I don't want to hear the same reason that you gave before. Find something new. Why not chess?
I mean, if it was better on the digital, then Andy Dufresne would have just been playing on the computer instead of carving the chess pieces, and he would have never got out of Shawshank. It saved a man's life. I mean, this game it's got such a huge tradition of being played in person and having the interactions, the physics. It doesn't, but like the computer games have completely outdone it. Like, if you want to go on the computer and play something, you're going to play something that you can't play in real life. You're gonna do something that you can't do in real life. You're gonna go shoot some aliens. You're gonna go score an absolute banger in the top corner in FIFA. You're not gonna go sit down and play chess when you could probably have a chessboard next to you and just play that instead.
Okay, and why not StarCraft?
I mean, because StarCraft, yeah, one of the leads of the whole thing, but it wasn't one of the best. That's literally going to be the standpoint argument. It's a good game, and yeah, it did a lot for the genre, but. I mean, people have come after it and done it better. Age of Empires. Walla.
No comment. No comment.
Crush your enemies. See them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women.
So that brings to the end of the debate. Al was talking there because he didn't realise that I pressed the button for it, and that will be completely cut, so no one will ever know what he said. But that's the way we roll because we are small and tiny and cheap and can't be bothered to fix these glaring issues. Yeah, that was an interesting debate. To say the least. I think there was a very creative answer in there that threw everyone for a loop, and then there was not really much knocking down really that on any of
games.
Any of the three answers, and it's made it really hard to choose anything. No one really had anything bad to say about XCOM. No one really had anything really bad to say about StarCraft, nor did really anyone have anything bad to say about chess. So it brings it down to a really hard choice. But I think this week I'm going to give it to Geordie, I'm sorry, but
Physical.
Like, there are 101 things that you could have said about why XCOM and StarCraft. Look, I'm looking at you both now, having a go. Why XCOM and StarCraft are better strategy games due to the depth and breadth they have than chess, but no one said that. You harped on about how you had to physically be there when that's not a factor in chess whatsoever.
If you play chess right, there are just like unlimited amounts of depth.
On the basis that no one really give a good defense on why chess is not the best video game of all time, I've got to give it to Geordie. It's the only fair thing I can do.
Am I correct in thinking this is the first Geordie win?
Is it the first Geordie win, Geordie?
The first Geordie win of the 8-bit debaters, but I think maybe the third or second win of the entire.
I bet your parents are both very proud. So
They never will be.
That brings us to the end of the mass debate. We have declared as a brand that the best strategy video game of all time is chess.
I'm standing away from this.
I can't believe no one even said that you can't even play chess for Windows XP very easily anymore because no one has chess Windows XP anymore.
Yeah,
Come on, guys!
I just assumed it was playable.
I even said StarCraft is basically chess in space.
Yeah,
which makes it better.
But yeah, that is the end of the debate anyway, and that will bring us to the next part of the podcast, which is our views on the news.
Our views on the news.
Our views on the news is the section where we talk about the recent events going on in video games, anything that takes or sparks our interest. Not a really huge week. Anything really going on in video games. There's a few things that we thought we'd pick out and talk about. First of all, Geralt of Rivea has been confirmed as an extra character on the roster for Soul Calibur 6. Does this please anybody in the group?
It does nothing to me. Not a tingle, not a dangle, not even a little interaction. Nothing.
Jonathan?
Nope.
Geordie?
No.
No, well,
Nope.
It just sounds like they're running out of people to stick in now, so they're trying to grab anyone and everyone after.
okay.
I really hope Mike Tyson's in there next.
I tell you what, I'm going to disagree with every single one of you and say that Soul Calibur has had some brilliant guest appearances throughout the series. I mean, on Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube, you could play as Link, I believe. You could play as Link, and I believe you could play, if you pull it on the Xbox, you can play as Spawn.
I think that was 4.
From the comic book. Sorry? You think it was?
I think, was George trying to say it was
No,
4?
I was saying I think 4 had the best
That was
special character.
That was Darth Vader and Yoda, isn't it? You could play as, and that was a tie-in with the Force Unleashed because you could play as the Apprentice as well.
Yeah.
And I believe Assassin's Creed Ala Ezio appeared in Soul Calibur 5, and I thought this appearance of him in the Soul Calibur series was really damn cool, because I thought The Witcher 3 personally is the best video game of this generation.
Not the argument we have.
I know. I'm not saying it's this is the news. This is the conversation we're having. I'm having a conversation. No, I think it's the best game by quite a long way of this a generation. And I'm really pleased to see him appearing in Soul Calibur, which is another series that I really that I think is actually very underrated and is actually a very good fighting series that I'm pleased to see coming back.
It's a cool little addition, but I mean, it does nothing to kind of the game. It doesn't add any new elements. Just like, right, here's a new character.
What do you want it to add? What else?
Sparkles, fireworks, explosion,
Namco
chess.
announced they're going to add a Geralt of Rivea from one of the best games of this generation. The newer up and coming fighter, and you'll go, yeah, but is that it?
I mean, like the fighting games have never really done anything for me, and like people are like, oh my god, this character's in the fighting game. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a fighting game. They're just gonna go jump, and that's it.
Well, you just live a very sad and shallow life where you just can't be a little bit excited, even if you're not genuine. I mean, I get excited when I see things about Kingdom Hearts 3, but I've never fucking played Kingdom Hearts. I won't fucking play it, but I get excited.
I save my excitement for real
Hearts.
things like park chess.
It's just typical rich people having zero empathy for anybody else, and you should be fucking ashamed of yourself.
It doesn't add to my goal piles. I don't care.
No, that's cool. But that was a quick news thing anyway. If anyone wasn't aware, go and see the trailer. It's very good, especially if you're a fan of The Witcher 3, unlike these three idiots.
Never played a Witcher.
Whoa.
Well, there you go. So the next piece of news was around Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is obviously one of the bigger news stories that come out of the back end of last year. And basically, obviously, if I'm not gonna go over the tale of what Star Wars Battlefront 2 was, it was, but in a nutshell, it was a game that had loads of loot boxes tied to it, and that was the root core of the progression. EA have come out this week and said that they're going to be a huge update to the game where it's going to have a more standard and traditional way of progressing through, and all the star cards are no longer going to be in a loot box form, and there will be microtransactions, but they'll be in the way of just buying cosmetics and little items that what you're going to buy, so they're taking the whole loot box formula out of it. So how does that do you think it's too little too late, or how does that make everyone feel?
Just feels like they're trying to undo the damage that they did at the back end of the year, and I think they've gone too far.
Yeah,
they can't come back from that, I don't think.
I think they've realized that Disney's going to pull the license.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
There was word of that. That's something we covered a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? Around the whole EA possibly losing the license. Which I think from what I've read, there was a hand of a Disney in reshaping Battlefront 2. So I assume they're still obviously got really good lines of a communication, and Disney want to carry on working with them. It's just whether or not they keep the exclusivity is the question that is being talked about, I assume, behind closed doors. But yeah, what about the whole sort of like, here's a publisher which has been bashed by every form of the media, a sideways, upwards, and whatever, and they didn't have to change it back. They could have just, walked away from it, going, you think of a lot of Evolve, you think of even early days of Siege, you think of early days of For Honor, early days of Destiny. A lot of people are unhappy, but they work on it, they improve, and eventually by the end of it, after 1 year, a cycle, or 2 year a cycle, you end up with what is actually a very, very good and fun a gaming experience, which you can be as ignorant about it as you want and go, well, I'm not buying it because you're fucking arseholes. But if you're not buying games that you might really enjoy, you're the one that's missing out. So would that not make you guys actually think, actually, is it worth me now heading to buy if you haven't already bought or tried a Battlefront 2, would you be more inclined to try it out if you saw it on sale, perhaps, like, a good 15 quid, you saw actually there's a really good a AAA Star Wars experience here? Would you guys not be moderately tempted by that?
Yeah, I'd give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, Dice are decent. It is them who done it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really like Dice games. I think they do an exceptional job on the Battlefield series. I still play Battlefield 1 sporadically now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll give it a shot when I see it come up cheap. I won't go splat out 40, 50 quid on the full price, but yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. How about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, kind of similar to John. If it was under like 20 quid, I might buy it. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have like a game at EGX, and so I kind of had the experience. I know what the game or some of the game is, and it didn't really entice me then. Like before the whole crap came out about like how bad the microtransactions were. It didn't really entice me to want to buy it because I just felt even though some games are quite repetitive, that just felt just slow and repetitive. Like, it was a good game, it was a beautifully done, but it wasn't like, good enough that I'd buy it again.
Not yeah. Okay then. So Jordy, how about you? Would you think about picking it up now after these changes if it was at a reasonable price?
Not really, no.
No.
I haven't really had much interest in it after the first Battlefront. I didn't really like first Battlefront, so I didn't see why I'd like the second one. And then I just, after like watching it release and then all the controversy around it, I just I think it's too late anyway. They fixed it now. It came out before December.
I believe it was November. I believe it was either late October or November. The game would come out, so it's it's been a good 4 or 5 months since the release. Yeah, it is one of those things where I think, from my point of view, I actually tried it. It's because I already was signed up to EA Access for my sins, so I thought I'd try out like the 10 hours, and I was trying to play it so I can head onto these podcasts and have a bit of a view on it. And actually, to be fair, I really enjoyed the 10 hours I had with it. I wouldn't say it's the best first-person shooter that I've ever played, but you know what? Like, I quite enjoyed the space battles. They were pretty good fun, and I played the arcade mode with my partner, just doing a split screen, playing as a Jedi each, and fighting against loads of bots and stuff. Wasn't the best thing, but I certainly, if I saw it at a decent price, I probably would add it into my library just as something that I could have a bit of a fart around in every now and again. But yeah, I mean, EA went too far, and perhaps we should talk with our wallets as consumers, and be a bit more stubborn about it and go, actually, no, I'm not buying this game out of principle.
Yeah, because there's quite a difference between this like update and DLC and what things like Destiny and the others had done before. Because I mean, I'm very familiar with the whole Destiny case, and that added extra gameplay and actual missions, and then storyline and all the rest of it to the game, which was broken. Whereas
That's exactly what EA's are doing, though, isn't it? They're adding extra story. They're expanding out the arcade mode. I know there's a lot of things that are planned around it, around improving the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Over the course of the time frame.
If it was just like trying to make the microtransactions kind of go away, so you didn't need them, then that would just be okay. Well, you should have released the game as that in the first place. But if they are expanding the single player, I mean, we'll see how that gets reviewed. I'm quite a stickler for those things, and I wait for other people to play them and tell me they're good before I put my money there. I mean, I bought Destiny after the Taken King when people were actually like, this game has gotten a hell of a lot better. And so I mean, I'll see how this new update affects Battlefront 2, and if the reviews are good, I may go in. But I think they put a sour taste in people's mouths, and people aren't willing to trust EA because they're going to be like, well, where is it? Where is this hidden fee that I'm paying now? Like, what have you done? What have you done with it?
I'm very interested about what's going to happen with the FIFA series when that comes out this year, in terms of all this controversy that happened at the back of last year, and obviously there's a few political movements happening now, and obviously the ESRB have come in with a new a labelling system about in-game transactions and stuff, and it'll be really interesting to see if EA, in the midst of this PR a disaster, see if they can take a bit of a hit financially and actually pretend to be the good guy for a bit, go back to the status quo, and then be able to push forward. And let's not forget EA as well. As much as they're the villain, let's not forget they've got all of the EA originals programs and stuff, which is things like A Way Out have come up through
Unravel, I think, as well.
Unravel and stuff like that, where actually EA have no hand in the way the game's made, and they actually get a profit from it anyway. They're just trying to support small developers who they think are making a great game. So for all the ills they are absolutely causing, let's not forget that if they try, they can do a lot of good, because they are a big a publisher. So sorry, I am dragging on, but I think unless anyone's got anything else to add around the latest update on Battlefront 2, I think I'll move on to the last part, which basically just a little bit of a wind down, where we basically ask what has everyone been playing this week. I'm going to ask Geordie. Geordie, what have you been playing this week, buddy?
Chess. No. I haven't been playing much. I've been playing Fortnite.
I think you've just lost
non-stop. Yeah, it's just become so natural that I think of it. Yeah, Fortnite. I got Fortnite.
Are you good at Fortnite? Do you have mad skills? Yeah.
I don't have mad skills. I just think I have luck, because I usually survive till maybe place and get killed.
Have you nailed yourself a win yet?
Yes, on 20 versus 20, but not single.
Oh, okay.
You need to up your game, bro.
You need to up your game. You need to get those.
I got to
bills to pay your bills.
I got to 6th on my first solo.
Ooh. Living the dream. So Alistair, what have you been playing this week, buddy?
This may actually kill you. I've barely played games this week. I think for about 6 days I just didn't touch one, which is unusual for me because I don't have a life, and I like the playing. I like the friendliness.
Yeah, and you didn't play any video games like we normally play over Friday or Saturday night, and you weren't there.
I know. I was
pretty upset.
Living the dream of stuff. I can't even remember what I was doing. But I think when I have dabbled, it's been...
You were doing a crime. That's what someone says when they do crime.
You can't prove it. I have an alibi.
That's what someone also says when they do crime.
There are no witnesses.
Cool. So your answer is nothing.
Rainbow Six Siege and 7 Days to Die. A little bit of dabbling in between. Once I can switch on and off.
Cool. And John, what have you been playing this week, buddy?
Mario Odyssey. That's been pretty good fun. And something called Lichtspeer.
This is the thing you shared on our Discord earlier.
Yes,
the trailer.
Yeah, throwing spears at dust Viking penguins, and honestly, it's the most random shit I've played in a while.
Alistair, watch the trailer that you put on
madness.
I want to.
If you got these spears, and if you throw one, it says miss, and then throw a second one and you miss, and then the third one, you're gonna massive face on your screen that screams 9. That's so random. Honestly,
that is very you, John.
That
is very you.
That shit.
That's got you written all over it. Or for me this week, and I'm not going to change much from what I said last week. I've been playing still a lot of Yakuza 0, which I'm really enjoying that series. I did obviously the stream yesterday for Shenmue, or Shenmue, or however you say it. So I really enjoyed picking up that again. But yeah, that's it. Yakuza 0 and Shenmue, which people might actually say they're very similar games, because one, they're kind of like a partner series in a way. They're both made by Sega, and you find in Yakuza there's a lot of nods to the Shenmue series. That's why I originally picked it up, and that's what inspired me to do the stream. So there you go. Interesting fact of the day, guys. I bet that all enriched your day a little bit more.
Yeah, I could use that so much.
But that brings us to the end of this week's 8-bit debaters. I want to thank Geordie, who has had a lovely shave for us this week. I want to thank John, who hasn't had a shave for us this week, but I think that helps. I think that adds to it. I think we needed someone who didn't turn up a shaven.
It's the wise old African.
I want to thank Alistair, who I'll just say now, I really like the colour of your top. I just want to say that. It's all right, man, anytime. And that's it from me. So I've been Rob, and that's been those guys up there. We are all from Twisted Bard Gaming. We have a YouTube channel if you're watching it on YouTube. Please be sure to check that out at youtube.com/Twisted Bard Gaming. And we also, if you're watching this on YouTube, we also put this out on iTunes and a few other apps and stuff like that. So be sure to check the links in the description, and there's also all sort of links if you want to listen to the audio version in future, if you're on the move, driving, or just in meetings and such. That's absolutely cool of us, yeah, bro. So yeah, that's us for this week, and we'll be back again next week where we've got a few things happening, who knows. And bye, I suppose.
Bye.
Bye.
I really can't do fucking outros.